This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Several years ago, I was dealing with a case of the blues during the holidays, and therapy was a bright spot amid all the stress and anxiety. Something to look forward to help me feel grounded, to provide me with the tools I needed to manage everything that was going on.
And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On this episode, of course, we're talking AEW Full Gear 2023. It is in the books. We had a couple of title changes. We had a possible, wait, was it one title change or several? There was one title change two. There was two. Yeah, there were two.
All right. Yes, two.
There is a possible match of the year contender.
Oh, yeah.
And no devil reveal yet.
We also found out who the mystery signing was. And no shocker, no surprise, but it was reported in advance.
Nice right, bruv.
Yes, Will Ospreay.
Not yet, though. Not going to be there just yet. He was very firm in saying. So, like, we had heard that his New Japan contract ran for a little bit longer, but he said he plans on being there on the road to Revolution or debuting at Revolution. He mentioned Revolution. So, not a surprise, but an excellent pickup by AEW.
Massive,
he is
massive.
One of the best wrestlers on the planet, absolutely, and he already has a relationship with AEW. This allows him to continue to work with New Japan, assuming that relationship continues between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
So not a surprise, but a welcome addition to AEW.
Yeah, especially considering the news that WB understandably was trying to procure William Ospreay's services to sign him, and then go through with the announcement well in advance of Ospreay making his official AEW debut as a contracted wrestler. It's kind of a huge deal. It's a deal. It's a deal.
It's a deal. I mean, it's I'm not terribly surprised by it.
No.
And whether or not AEW will be able to make the most of Will Ospreay remains to be seen. But yeah, I think, obviously having an opportunity to do the Wembley thing seemed to be a really important thing so important. He got a tattoo of the alleged attendance figure.
The initial.
Yeah,
reported.
and there's all sorts of great matchups there. Obviously, plenty of time left. Was he 30 years old? He said.
I think so. Yeah.
So if he signs a 3-year contract, even a 5-year contract, I'm sure him as a wrestler will look a lot different 5 years or 3 years from now, even. But if the idea is, hey, there's still plenty of years left to wrestle, I can do a WWE thing if he wants to down the line. Yeah,
I mean, as mentioned, I think we talked about this before. Wrestling with AEW will give him the opportunity, in theory, wrestle places other than AEW, and that's something he couldn't do in WWE. If you wrestle with WWE, you just wrestle with WWE. If he has any interest in wrestling, even not on a limited basis anywhere else, said he wants to wrestle for TNA. Well, talk to Tony Khan, maybe that can happen.
I do feel like he'll be able to, if he does want to go to WWE at some point. Going to AEW first is probably a smart move because he is still relatively young, and it's a great place for him to continue to build his name, to that next level, and make an even bigger splash if he does land there, if that's in his plans, if he wants to do it. But right now he's going to be in AEW starting at Revolution, so that's pretty exciting for people who appreciate, the wrestling aspect of AEW week to week on cable television here in the United States. Anyways, they still have some of the best wrestling you can find. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Where do you want to start with AEW Full Gear, Larson?
Oh man, let's start with undoubtedly the best aspect of the show. We're talking the Texas Death Match between Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland. Just a half hour, basically, of at times, depending on your stomach, like a level of violence that we're not used to seeing in professional wrestling these days, especially for a wrestling company that's got a cable television deal.
Yeah.
There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of staples.
Yeah.
A lot of barbed wire. A lot of brutality. Hangman Page apparently is a vampire tonight. I wonder who's familiar with Hangman Page prior to tonight.
I'd like to know who he's going to take on as his familiar. That's my question.
Important question. We're getting off track here. A spectacular, brutal, dramatic. I could toss out a bunch of superlatives to describe this match. It was fantastic. Easily match of the night. A legit match of the year contender. And Swerve coming out on top, echoing how Page beat Mox in their own Texas Death Match, choking him out with the chain. I thought was fantastic, and it's obvious. At least I hope. I hope this is an obvious sign that Swerve's on the ascent, as in to the main event. I don't know how you beat Page twice in a row if the path isn't world title scene.
We had talked about before this feud even started what Swerve needs to get to that point. And I know we had talked about needing to be in matches, in feuds, and coming out on the winning end of feuds, winning matches against former world champions to show that he has the ingredients to be there as a world champion material, as he is world champion material. And his win tonight in a match type that Hangman had never lost before, Texas Death Match, after having picked up the biggest sort of moment of the feud, him going to his house, the home invasion stuff, and Hangman eviscerating him in that promo last, on Dynamite, and then attacking him at the indie show, the Pro Wrestling Revolver show.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the go home math, this seemed like it might have been obvious, but if you look at the other tropes of pro wrestling, where Hangman needed to get revenge for what he did to his family, what Swerve did to his family, this didn't play along those lines at all. Swerve got the win, and creating a legitimate main event world title guy where it's obvious to you, to me, seemingly to everybody, that he's got what it takes, and he is that X factor in the company, that special guy in the company. That's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the guy is incredibly creative.
Yeah.
And this was a huge special moment. I thought even if he were to lose this match, the feud and this match really elevated both guys, to where Hangman needed to be again, and to where Swerve needed to be for the first time, another level up with memorable segments, memorable promos, memorable matches that people will look at him and say, okay, I'm behind this guy, whether it's as I want to boo him as a bad guy, just really love his work, or, after tonight, man, I think he's going to get to that point where he's a bad guy, but people are just going to appreciate his work and they're going to want to see him more, similar to where MJF has been for a while now.
Yeah.
The match was clearly a match of the year candidate. And his performance and Hangman's performance, I thought were absolutely stellar. It's really good stuff. And regardless of where I'm looking at the rundown of the match times, they gave him the most time.
Yeah.
This was 29 minutes and 55 seconds. By 10 seconds, it beat the main event. So it did get the longest amount of time on the card, which says a lot.
Yeah.
And regardless of who won or lost, that both guys came out of this looking like $1 million, but this was a special moment for Swerve because he did get the win. It says a lot about what they think about him.
Exactly. You'd like to see this as a sign that they got a huge plan for him. And it continues a story that we've seen with Hangman, where if he lets his emotions get the better of him, more often than not, it costs him in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a through line there. All right, we'll go into more of that match when we talk about in the breakdown. Let's talk about what played out at the end of 0 Hour in the main event. So Samoa Joe helped MJF retain the Ring of Honor tag titles. However, after Joe said to MJF, "Remember, you owe me a title shot," he leaves. The Guns attack MJF, do the bit. We put the chair around the ankle and jump off the top rope, smash the leg. We see Adam Cole. He's out there too while this is all happening. He has to witness this. He can't do anything. He's on crutches. He's got a boot on. And so they take MJF away on a stretcher, put him in an ambulance, and he's yelling at Adam Cole, "Don't let him take my title away from me. Don't let him take my title." So somehow, even though Adam Cole had 2 surgeries on his ankle, has a boot on and on crutches, somehow convinced Tony Khan that he will take the match in MJF's stead, so Jay White is not handed the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they do the introductions for the main event. Adam Cole first, Jay White second. Right as about Bryce Remsburg is about to ring the bell, you hear ambulance siren. MJF comes in, driving the ambulance, leg wrapped up. He comes out for the main event. Now, I thought in a vacuum, without all the extraneous stuff going on outside, the leg injury, all that stuff, I thought the match itself between MJF and Jay White was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, the announcement, apparently they even changed the graphic for Bleacher Report to Adam Cole versus Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
Like it strains the suspension of disbelief that Adam Cole, who's got a busted ankle he's recovering from, yes, Tony Khan will sign off on that match. MJF with some unknown leg ailment, it could be a Charlie horse for all we know, is taken off in an ambulance and not allowed to wrestle. There's a lot of elements of how the main event angle was set up that was like, all right. Match itself was good.
Match itself was great. I mean, it was. They told a really, really good story there. I thought the match itself was really, really, really good. I agree with that. It is, you know me. I actually appreciate the absurdities of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that, yes. Are there some holes in logic? Sure. That being said, when they go out of their way to try to, and somebody in our chat had mentioned, the Adam Cole injury, who knows how that played into like the plans for this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I can appreciate the absurdity of the entertainment value of pro wrestling when there are stories that have certain holes in logic. Does Tony Khan come off like kind of an idiot for saying, okay, well, MJF is on his way to the hospital? Maybe they should have said, well, he's, they have to rush him to the hospital to get his leg checked out, and we have no idea what his status is, as opposed to he's not cleared. That's a small line of dialogue they could have changed to make it maybe a bit less head scratching.
Absolutely.
That's fine. If it boils down to one line of dialogue, who gives a shit? The emotion, when you take away the silly gaps in logic, which are a couple, the emotional story between Adam Cole and MJF, I think got that crowd going. The crowd was super into it. And mind you, this was a half-hour long match.
Yeah.
Where the crowd was super into it by the last 10 minutes of it. Yeah. But obviously a half hour after, 4 or 5 hours because of, about 4.5 hours, whatever it was, the pre-show and all that. Super into it, super into the story. And, they told the match, I'm sitting there screaming, just hit him with a bunch of Blade Runners. That's not pro wrestling. They don't really do that. So, Jay White, his arrogance got the best of him, taunting Adam Cole. Yeah, go ahead.
Although, what did Hangman do at the start of the Texas Death Match? He comes and hits, swerve a couple moves, buckshot lariat within 30 seconds.
Yeah, but there's. Well, what's your point, though?
Well, as far as why not just go out there and hit your finisher and be done with it? I understand.
Oh, because there's a difference there, though.
There's a difference. I understand from a character perspective, but there's a difference. I understand that.
Yeah, because Hangman didn't want to finish that. He wanted every 29 minutes and 55 seconds of that.
It was more about punishment before victory as opposed to just getting as he went. I understand that. I'm just saying in the idea of someone just coming out and hitting their finish right away when the opportunity presents itself. We did see that in this show.
Yeah, we did, but that wasn't en route to getting an easy, quick win.
No.
In Jay White's case, the arrogance got the best of him because he felt that he could milk this, and he felt that he did have all the time in the world because he could hit a Blade Runner at any time if he wanted to. It's just things didn't go his way. A lot of people ask, did it make him look bad? It made him look kind of stupid, sure.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
how many villains have suffered from their own ignorance that turned into that from their own arrogance, that their hubris that then turned, that basically makes them look like fools. That's a standard trope across all fiction narrative. But the emotion was there. They obviously, put a lot into that match. I thought it was really good. I don't think it was on the level of the Texas Death Match.
No, there's very few matches this year that are on the level of Texas Death Match.
Right, exactly. But no, I thought it was a good angle that furthers the story. I have no idea, like the extent of Adam Cole's injury or not. I don't know. But the fact that he's present, even in video calls, he shows up for the pay-per-view, helps Joe and MJF get the, keep those titles, or Joe, picks up Cole's title, I guess.
Yeah.
So that Joe gets that title shot. Where does it go from here without the devil reveal tonight?
Which disappointed some people based on what I've seen here in chat.
Sure. Yeah. But I don't know that.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to get the devil reveal until Adam Cole is healthy, because I
agree with that. I think you're right.
And so for Maximum Impact, you don't have the devil reveal as Adam Cole, which I'm assuming it is. You're assuming it is. That's the assumption. Until he's ready to have that match.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. If he revealed himself the Devil Knight, hit MJF with the crutch, well, guess what? You still can't have that match for another couple months, because if not longer, because Adam Cole's not healthy.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? Is he help Jay White win the match? Why? Adam Cole's the one that wants the title. He doesn't want Jay White to have the belt. He wants to have the belt. So I get that people are disappointed we didn't have story progression in that manner, but it just wouldn't make sense. Adam Cole's goal is winning the title. It's not having someone beat MJF. What he's trying to do is get MJF softened up so it's easier for him to beat him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what Adam Cole's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, if he could have been revealed as devil, or someone else could have. But in the end, until we get the Cole MJF match, I don't think we're going to get the devil reveal, because it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems less likely now that he's
Now, what I thought they might have done,
he's in cahoots with Jay White.
Yeah, what I thought they might have done was have the masked assailants come out to help MJF win the match, to further the idea, maybe MJF is the devil, and he's have him come out to help him win this bout, but it's actually Adam Cole coming out, or have them come out to make sure MJF keeps the belt so he can beat MJF for it.
Yeah. I think you're right, though. I think that everything's sort of on pause until Cole is actually healthy.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what, man, I appreciate, when they inject a little bit of sports entertainment, and everybody in our community that was watching, all 1,500 between YouTube and Twitch. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
We're all wondering what the hell is going to happen. Is he going to have a Willis Reed moment? Is Joe going to come down and get that title match somehow? It keeps things interesting, because, heading into the match, MJF was a huge favorite to win. And there was a lot of, and so in order to sort of keep people guessing, I love the fact that they changed the graphic on the damn pay-per-view. I think that's really cool, So yeah, I thought that it was a decently executed way of adding some intrigue into something that felt like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on the card, we had Julia Hart, one of the most improved wrestlers in terms of overall presentation, character, in-ring stuff as well, picking up the TBS title off of a Chris Statlander in a triple threat, along with Sky Blue, who got new packaging as well. Sort of countering Julia Hart's red branding in this match with some blue branding, of course, because she's Sky Blue. And Julia Hart. What pumps through a heart? Blood. Red.
Red. That's correct.
Unless, of course, you're a Vulcan, in which case you're green blood.
Oh, green blood. Sorry.
Klingons are purple, I think. Anyways. So Julia Hart used Chris Statlander hit her finish on Sky Blue, but didn't really pay attention to what Julia Hart was doing. She had time to come in, shove her out of the way, and steal that
hit her with a sliding clothesline.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah, exactly.
And then pin Sky Blue to get the win. Now, we were wondering if Sky Blue, especially once she came out, she took her hat off. She has the baseball hat she wears backwards, took that ass, stomped on it, and had kind of like a crown-looking deal put on. I was like, oh, okay. And then commentary literally said, oh, she's completed her transformation.
Yeah.
like, okay, is this really, are they in league, Julia and Sky Blue now? And for early portion of the match, it seemed like that might be the case until Julia whoopah
Yeah.
hit her, and then it's like, all right, obviously they're not in league.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. As mentioned, Julia Hart improved a ton over the course of the year. Has the best theme song in pro wrestling right now. Everything about her presentation is top notch.
And her kid, the
cool.
fact that she found her kid, like her promos are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so like understated, perfectly within her character, and like really well performed by her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that, it sort of became obvious with that last match that against Statlander that she was there. Mm-hmm. She was there, and maybe they should have pulled the trigger then. And I wonder if by that match happening, Tony Khan felt, okay, this was, the hunch is right. Probably should have done it. Let's find a way to maybe protect Statlander in a loss here.
Yeah.
Who's just a really terrific wrestler as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Most definitely. Steve, you want to pay some bills?
Yeah, I think we should probably pay some bills.
Let's pay some bills then.
Go ahead.
This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp, Steve.
Yes.
Let's be honest with each other, all right?
Okay.
Holiday season can be a lot.
It can be a lot, yes.
You agree, yes.
Yes,
It could be a time of joy, yeah, but it could also be a time of stress, anxiety, and sadness.
That's true, man. And if you're dealing with the seasonal blues during the holidays, therapy can be a bright spot amid all the stress. Something to look forward to help you feel grounded and to provide you with tools to manage everything going on.
Yeah, I could think of a time when I wasn't exactly looking forward to the holidays and everything that comes with it. I know I've talked about a bunch here on the show back in my mid-20s, dealing with anxiety, and it got really bad. Really bad. And I realized in order to live a happier, more productive life that I needed to go to therapy. It took me a few tries to find someone I felt comfortable talking to, but once I did, I was able to learn positive coping skills to help manage my anxiety, get me back on track. Coming. Better Larson.
So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/raw.
Boy, the time just sort of slipped away there. We're talking for 22 minutes already.
I know. We even got to a single match yet. While we're here taking a break.
Yeah.
I see here we got 792 people watching, yet
Ooh.
we only have 124 likes.
Oh,
if
hell.
that makes sense.
Oh, hell. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Dog's about to come out and Steve unless you start smashing that like button, everybody.
Man, listen. We got so many people watching. And look, I understand that maybe some people watching here are new, so I'm not going to bring the dog out, but I'm going to ask politely.
Ooh.
You're just sitting there. Hit that like button. It goes a long way towards helping Steve and Larson, the Friendo Club, going in raw. That's right. We've been doing this for, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks now. So we're pretty new at this. We're not used to these huge audiences.
Nope.
Hit that like button. That's what the YouTube tutorials tells us to ask you guys. Hit that like button also.
Smash it.
We understand that subscriptions are really cool. So if you can hit that subscribe button on the YouTube, hit that notify bell as well.
Yes,
that'll
that's
help
an important
us.
aspect as well.
We got goals. We're goal-oriented guys, and then those are goals that we have. Also
goals
had
we
a
have
bunch
that we
of,
think we can achieve. 198,891 subs. 198,891 subs. Gosh,
it's a
been long day.
palindrome.
It is a palindrome number. We've talked about fun palindromes before. I thought of another one.
Yeah, what is it?
Toot.
Oh, toot. It's like fart, but it's a palindrome, so it's better.
It is.
Yeah, so I like the physical form of toot, poop. That's a palindrome too.
It is a palindrome as well.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll see where we're at. We're about 45 minutes into the show. What the like situation is then.
Oh, will the dog come out then?
If it's not at 50%, you're going to hear a lot of cursing.
Well, that's a large number you're asking. You're asking
who
about
probably
390 likes.
Probably curses a lot. Eddie Kingston. He was in the pre-show. He beat Jay Lethal. And then we had some pretty shocking news from Eddie Kingston later on in the show about his entrance.
Of this Continental Classic tournament.
My goodness, he's taking that way too seriously.
Well, he wants to make it prestigious.
Well, yeah, but, also kind of foolish. Claudio defeated Buddy Matthews. Not a surprise there. it seemed like that might. I forget what happened. Didn't something like House of Black stuff happen afterwards?
No. As Claudio offered his hand, as Buddy gets to his feet, and Buddy
that's
looks
right.
at it and just kind of like shoulder checks him on the way out.
That's right. That's what it was.
The finish to the Eddie match was real fun because Ortiz comes out and like, oh, is he going to hit Eddie with guitar? No, he hits Sanjay Dutt with it.
Yeah, that was good. I expected Ortiz to hit Eddie Kingston with the sack of balls, but he didn't. Maybe they'll save that for. Yeah, maybe they'll save that for Ring of Honor television.
Maybe.
We'll apparently Ronda Rousey's going to be on. It's kind of crazy.
I saw that.
Yeah, man.
Then the main event of 0 Hour, the Guns challenging Samoa Joe and MJF for those Ring of Honor tag team titles.
You know what I liked, man, and I mentioned this during the stream. Remember back in the day, Sunday Night Heat, huge angles would happen there.
Leading to the pay-per-view, I know.
So you get this like cliffhanger angle at the end of the 0 Hour, and then boom, you get the big pay-per-view number they did for like, what was it, All Out or I forget which one, All Out or All In. One of them did like 200,000.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious. That's a
I
lot of
know.
pay-per-views.
I mean, say what you will about how the angle played out with MJF getting injured and leading to the main event. It was reminiscent of Sunday Night Heat, where, you'd be watching that. Something huge would happen, like, oh, shit, I got to buy the pay-per-view now to see how this plays out.
You'd be backstage, they'd be backstage, and like somebody get hit by a car or something. And it's like, whoa, I got to get this. I got to plunk down. How much were the pay-per-views back then?
$40.
Was it $40 back then?
I think so. Maybe 50.
Really? Okay. Boy. Inflation hasn't hit the pay-per-view business, has it?
No, that's probably the only thing.
I mean, it went sort of down because the WWE pay-per-views got like $10 a month.
$10 a month. Well, UFC pay-per-views are like $80 now.
Oh, and yeah, those things.
And then if like all the fights are quick, the main card you'd be in and out in like an hour.
Yeah.
And they have to show all the prelim matches the back half of the pay-per-view card, so people feel like they got their money's worth, even though you could watch the prelim matches, I think, free gratis elsewhere.
All the chumps, they wheel out the chump matches. Yeah, well, I hope there's every once in a while there's a good chump match. If I recall correctly, it's been a while since I watched UFC pay-per-view. Yeah, the prelim matches. Yeah, I know. So, as mentioned before, MJF and Samoa Joe get the win here. They teased hitting double muscle busters, and I was really excited about the prospect of that happening. I mean, pretty
Tyler
cool.
Savior here says last weekend the main card was 23 minutes long for the UFC fights. 23 minutes. So you're paying $80 for 23 minutes of main card action.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I'll be honest. It's like kind of cool if we had like a 23-minute AEW show once in a while.
That'd be one match. That you paid $50 for Texas Deathmatch tonight. I wouldn't feel like I got shortchanged there.
I'd pay that.
Yeah, I'd pay that for that match. So we didn't get the double muscle busters finish here, but we did see Colton getting choked out to a coquina clutch. So afterwards, Cole walks down the ringside. MJF drops off the apron and gives Cole a huge hug.
Mm-hmm.
He gets back in the ring, and Joe gets right in MJF's face and is like, "You owe me." Title shot. Yeah. He leaves. So now the Guns take that opportunity. They attack MJF. They bring in a chair. They start hitting MJF's knee with it, wrap it around his leg. Austin leaps off the top rope onto the chair, all while Cole can do nothing. He's on crutches still.
Mm-hmm.
So medical comes to ringside. They put MJF on the stretcher, wheel him out as Cole follows, and they load MJF into the ambulance. He's yelling at Cole, "Don't let him take my title. Don't let him take my title."
And Cole left with, "Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?"
Yes.
Didn't plan for that today.
Nope.
The main card kicked off with Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. The Patriarch versus Edge, Sting, and Darby Allin. They all sort of were thematic, like NWO themed. They were Darby Allin themed, I guess.
Yeah, Darby Allin themed because Edge had some. Sorry, Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland had some kind of Darby Allin inspired face paint. Sting had Sting face paint, but Edge was matching with Darby for the most part. Darby took another horrible bump in this match. Luchasaurus seemed like he's trying to choke him through the apron. Choke slam him through the apron. That was nasty.
It's like they don't even measure him out anymore. It's not like they're like, okay, let's get him up here for a choke slam and like see where we're at. They just sort of dump him all over the place. I think that's what he likes, apparently.
I think that's how he wants it. Yeah.
It looks horrible.
It looks
awful. In a fun, violent way, but I just feel for the guy.
Oh, I know.
Is he like a mutant or something? Like the next day,
maybe.
just like,
I feel
Wolverine.
Great. He's got that healing factor.
Maybe.
Adamantium.
Adamantium is the metal in the bones. And then there's on top of that the healing factor because he's a mutant.
He's got claws, too.
He's got snicked. Yeah. But you know who'd be jealous if Darby had that? Brian Cage, because he wants to be the Wolverine.
Yeah. He claims to be a machine.
Wolverine.
No metal in him.
Yeah. This was funny because Christian would not fight edgy Adam Copeland. And he just
That's pretty hilarious when he ran through the crowd too.
He just ran through the crowd. Yeah, he bolted out of there.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. In the end, so Edge and Sting, their double team of Luchasaurus, hit a top rope elbow slash scorpion death drop combo. Then Nick Wayne gets in there. He eats a double suplex fun splash combo from the face team. And then Christian goes down the floor and gets in Ric Flair's face. Flair hits him with some chops. Christian hits him with a low blow and just pushes him over. And so while the ref's distracted, Christian gets the TNT title, takes a swing at Edge with it. Edge ducks. Luchasaurus gets blasted with it instead.
Whoops.
So Edge is like, I'm coming for you now. That's when Christian runs out of there.
Yeah.
And then Edge gets back in the ring, hits Luchasaurus with a spear. Darby follows with a coffin drop. Edge covers Luchasaurus to get the win.
Yeah, Christian. And the camera was like following him through the crowd. Like there was like great. A crane shot of him just like running out of there. That was pretty good stuff. So, yeah, obviously building to probably maybe World's End. They'll actually do a TNT title match between these two, or you think Christian's going to duck him for a little longer? Maybe till Revolution.
Maybe it could be.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Worlds Collide. I'm sorry, World's End. I know Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide is WWE.
Yes.
Yeah, World's End.
In a while.
If it's gonna feel like a level pay per view, or are they gonna have like sort of B level type situations going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the idea with World's End is just based on where it is, Long Island, the name of the show, it's going to be so much of MJF's story coming to a head.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna have like 5 matches on the show. Maybe
he got to wrestle Joe and maybe Jay White again, and Adam Cole if he's healthy in time, which I don't think he will be. But
yeah, I don't think. I guess. Yeah.
At a certain point, if MJF hasn't or doesn't re-sign with AEW, they're going to have to do something with the Adam Cole thing before he leaves, obviously.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So, like, if MJF ends up saying, all right, I'm going to go to WWE, I have to drop the title at World's End, at that point, Adam Cole, whether he's cleared to wrestle or not, will end up costing MJF the title.
I'm still really curious if they are going to try to, or have agreed to, add time. The time that MJF missed during whatever the contract dispute was, or whatever was going on there where he just disappeared. If that lost time is going to be added to the contract so that he wouldn't be even eligible to leave, or his contract wouldn't be up. Right, yeah, it could be. Was he gone for that long? Was he gone for 6 months?
It was from the day after Double or Nothing to
All Out?
All Out. So I guess what? That's 3 months?
Okay.
It'll be till April.
Depending on his contract, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, obviously he is the A story. And so, yeah, I wonder if, thematically, World's End, I wonder if that's going to be where everything converges on him. Well, I guess we'll find out. It seems likely it's going to be him and Joe. That's my assumption. Mm-hmm. I don't know what claim at this point Jay White would have. It's like, bro, he had a leg. He had one leg and you got two, and like you didn't just drop him.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You're done. You're done.
I know.
After that, Tony Schiavone, grumpy Tony Schiavone, interviews Bryce Remsburg because Bryce has the info about the MJF situation. So he says, Bullet Club Gold, come to the ramp. They play the Guns music. Jay comes upset with his championship. He's like, what are you doing playing the Guns music? I'm the champion around here. And Tony's like, okay, MJF is injured. He's not going to be able to defend the title tonight. The match between MJF and Jay White has been canceled. So by default, which is another one of those weird things, like, really? They're just going to hand him the title.
Yeah.
Your AEW World Champ is Jay White. And then it's all about the boom.
Yeah.
Adam Cole comes out. He says, Jay, there's not a shot in hell. He meant chance in hell. There's not a chance in hell that you're leaving the Kia Forum as champ. I made a promise to MJF, and I talked to Tony Khan, and if MJF can't make the main event, I'll defend the title for him. And Jay says, you must have hit your head or something. He says, let me refresh your damaged memory. I took you out once wearing these pants, and I'll do it again and do it for good. So, disaster averted for now.
Yes, for now. Almost lost my pen. Anyways, so we had Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the International Championship. Going into this, we were wondering, all right, they're going to take their time telling the story of Orange Cassidy learning how to overcome the final boss energy of Jon Moxley. The answer is no, because he overcame it in this match and won. So, early on, Orange Cassidy was trying to throw everything he could at Mox, and Mox was no selling it. He was dominant in the early portion of this match. Eventually, Orange strings together some offense, diving DDT, tornado DDT. That gets him a mere 1 count. And he busts out a Taz Mission, or Red Rum, been hanging out with Hook. Makes sense. And when he locks that on, Mox goes to grab the top turnbuckle to try to break it. So he pulls back. Top turnbuckle comes off. So Orange is looking for an orange punch. Mox counters with a cutter, and the pile driver gets a 2 there. And the Mox kind of mocks Orange Cassidy with some lazy kicks, and then hits him with like a really stiff pie face. Well, then Orange puts his hands in his pocket. Mox charges. Orange gets out of the way, so Mox goes headfirst in that exposed turnbuckle. Orange follows with 3 orange punches. Mox doesn't sell that. Like, he stumbles a little bit, doesn't get knocked down. Orange rolls him up, gets a 2, hits him with 2 more orange punches, then a 3rd, and then a beach break to get the win. So what is my count here? 6 orange punches.
Took a lot.
And a beach break.
Yeah.
Plus going into the exposed turnbuckle not once but twice.
What'd you think of this whole thing? You know, they told the story where Mox all of a sudden doesn't sweat the orange punch.
Doesn't sweat Orange Cassidy, kind of full stop, yeah.
Yeah. What did you say in the video package preceding this? He said Orange Cassidy punches like a bitch or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I like the idea of telling a story. Mox is very much like a match to match. Let's tell a story for this match, you know? And it's a very traditional. It's always like very traditional stuff. Like, your punch doesn't do much for me, you know?
Yeah. Eat your punch for breakfast. Yeah.
But it's a move that's like booked pretty powerfully.
Yeah.
And for suddenly one guy, and I know Mox is a tough guy. I get it. And I can appreciate the traditional pro wrestling thing. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows how this story originally was supposed to play out. Mox got the international title, but then he had to drop it to Phoenix because of the concussion.
The concussion, yeah.
And so they put it back in Orange Cassidy, and this was supposed to be his big, they probably was intending to tell this story when he got it back. Yeah.
Over the course of Mox's reign with the title, as opposed to like a handful of weeks.
Right. Yeah.
Weeks,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it could have benefited from taking that time. I feel like it would have been more impactful if Orange Cassidy walked in this match after already losing to Mox once for the title. And now Mox just feels like the super leveled up, unstoppable, at least for Orange Cassidy. Monster. And then Orange Cassidy like, all right, he's got the thing now that I treasure more than anything, that international title. And now I'm faced with a crisis of confidence because he eats my finisher for breakfast. And now he has to like steel himself. And also he's never allowed himself an opportunity to heal up from his first reign. Remember his hand was all busted up?
Well, okay. And I think that's a big sort of important thing is if they were able to tell this whole story the way maybe they wanted to.
Yeah.
That was his thing. He was losing strength in that hand, and maybe they wanted to sort of pick up those threads using Mox as like, but maybe along the way, if originally the way it was going to be told, he would be losing, like he would be palpably losing power with that punch.
Yeah.
And he had to find, the grit and determination to be persistent with it and to keep on trying it and find it again. And ultimately this is, they decided we're going to tell this in one, in basically, one situation. You got the go home match, the tag match, where Orange realizes, oh shit, this doesn't do anything to Mox. And then he got this match. So they basically told it in the span of 2 matches. But beyond that, I thought this match was fine. Once you get past the whole, okay, well, this punch isn't doing anything to Mox. How many is it going to take? I mean, honestly, it's sort of a Brock Lesnar match when you think about it,
Yeah,
just spam that finisher as much as you can.
Exactly. So Orange retains. After that, we get a video package where Mark Briscoe announces that he's going to be in the Continental Classic.
I'm being the Continental Classic.
Pretty much it. And then we got Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. And usually Toni Storm will hand her opponent script for the match. This time she has the script. She tears it up herself.
Yep. She's not going by the script.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
This was fun, man. This was fun. All the shenanigans, all the histrionics. I thought especially like Toni Storm is so good that even when she has to improvise and remain in character, the finish of this match, she had some sort of looked like an old-timey saucer.
Yeah, like a metal saucer or a little plate or something.
Right, like a little tray type thing, but a small one that was oval. And so, the whole match, she's like hiding stuff in her what did they call
trucks.
it? It wasn't
britches?
Yeah, the britches. Yeah, exactly. She was hiding stuff in her britches. And, she did it with the shoe where she comes at her with the shoe. Aubrey takes it from her. So she gets out the one that Luther hid in her britches. She's able to use that. Sheeta kicks out of that. But then she has, on the outside, Sheeta's so obsessed with Luther getting involved. She starts taking the kendo stick to him. And eventually Toni Storm gets that saucer. She puts it in, sort of on one of her butt cheeks, in her britches. And it's like comedically hanging out.
Yeah.
And the ref doesn't do shit about it. But we can all see it. It's all plain as day. And we're like, okay, what is she going to do with this thing? Because there's a lot of wrestling between when she actually uses it and when she put it in her britches. So she puts it in there. A bunch of wrestling moves happen. And then we realize, hip attack. That makes sense. So sure enough, Sheeta sort of lined up in the corner, but Sheeta does a little bit of selling first. She stumbles around, and Toni jumps the gun a little bit. And when Sheeta finally gets in a position, Toni stops, does this big motion, cartoonishly turns around, gets her close up, and then runs and her arms are flailing, hits her with the hip attack with the with the saucer on the butt. And that puts Sheeta down. Yeah. And just wildly hilarious stuff. And of course the overreacting when she wins and Mariah May comes down with the flowers. Mm-hmm. Wildly entertaining stuff. And Sheeta selling all of it just makes it so much better. I thought this was really terrific stuff, man.
It was fun, and you have Mariah May watching backstage. And after Toni wins, she comes to the ring, Mariah May does, and presents Toni with a bouquet of flowers.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And Toni takes them and poses and preens to the crowd. And
And
there's been a lot of talk about the story between Mariah May and Toni Storm kind of following the All About Eve storyline, if you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's a breath of fresh air. The crowd loves it. The crowd's into it. I think that this is a smart move, putting the title on her. Sheeta's the ace of the women's division. She really is. She'll be fine. She'll probably get it back. At the end of the day, she'll probably end up holding the record for the most number of reigns, and that just means that she's super reliable. So they know that, hey, if something happens, if we need a reset, we can put it on Sheeta. She's credible, and I love how much she bought into the Toni Storm gimmick. This is really good stuff.
It is.
And just the wrestling was really good too, because they're both really good.
Yeah. After that, we got Eddie Kingston interview. And Eddie says, we got this tournament coming up. I'm going to be in it. And he says, I want to up the game. I'm going to put my life's work on the line. I want to put both of these titles, New Japan Strong, Ring of Honor World title, on the line every match I have in this tournament. So the winner of this tournament is going to be a triple champion. This is where he just kind of casually announces there's going to be a new belt for the winner of this match, the Continental Championship. So a commentary mentioned later on, the winner of this tournament is going to be the modern-day Triple Crown champion. So he's like, I want to make this title tournament prestigious, make this the best tournament in wrestling history. So whoever wins this is walking out with 3 belts.
Okay. Yeah, so they're going to have a new title here. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
now, I don't know if this would be like if you win the Brett or the Owen tournament, where you get that title and you win it and then you never see the title again. Yeah,
I suspect that's probably the situation. I mean, whoever wins this, they're going to be the New Japan
Strong and Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah.
So Eddie's going to make it to the finals and lose to somebody.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah, I guess I wonder who else is like. How we know what Danielson, Eddie,
Andrade, and Mark Briscoe,
and then Mark Briscoe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you got to know more. There's 12 of them altogether. So
yeah, that's all we know so far. And I think the tournament's starting on Wednesday or Friday or Saturday or something. Starting next week, I think.
Yeah, starting pretty quick. And I think our dude Cody Miles, I'll believe it when I see it. We need to know who the participants are going to be first.
Yeah, no.
Cody Miles is going to put together a prediction form for our next predictions challenge. Right now, who is in the lead for the Week of Champions 3.
I'm happy you asked. Right
Big
now,
Blue is on the line.
And what a great name. Superman Bass Fisher.
Wow. Clark Kent
Has the
Bass
lead with
Fisher.
39
Didn't know
points.
that.
And we have at least 2 people, including B-Man Patrick Sparks, tied for second with 38. I'm just a point behind the leader.
What is the cash-in situation? How's Flannelly Dan doing?
Last I checked, Flannelly Dan was about as good a situation as me.
Oh, not great, you mean?
No.
Okay.
Flannelly Dan's like well off the leader.
Okay. All right.
Worse situation than I am even. So.
All right.
And I'm well behind the leader, so I need to roll the dice, take some chances at Survivor Series to have any chance of cashing in. Ain't looking good though.
No, not at all. Who's fighting at Survivor Series? The War Games. There's 2 War Games matches.
2 War Games. It's only 5 matches. Not a whole lot of opportunities to make up points.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or will probably be 5 or 6 matches. Not a whole lot.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. After the Eddie interview, we had the tag team ladder match. House of Black, Ricky and Big Bill, LFI, FTR. Fun ladder match.
Yeah,
Solid
this
enough.
is a really fun match. Yeah, I like this a lot. A lot of cool spots here. We had a Gonzo bomb on a ladder. That was a lot.
That was crazy.
That was a lot. There was a whole spot where people were just on the outside, catching people, jumping out, doing all that shit.
Being good bases.
Being good bases, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, this was cool. I mean, it was, it was a way for, look, I kind of felt, I mentioned this in our predictions, and you had some good ideas for FTR potentially winning this. And that was my original pick, but then I ran. It's funny because we traded spots here.
We did.
Because, I kind of just felt in the end a multi-tag team ladder match. FTR has a bone to pick with Ricky Starks and Bill Big. So if they're going to get those titles back, which they probably will, then they're going to beat them straight up as opposed to climbing a ladder to get them. This is just a great, match to feature a bunch of people, forward some stories, and have Ricky Starks and Bill Big retain. Just really, really fun stuff, though. Very entertaining match.
It was. You mentioned the Gonzo bomb. Brody gave Julius Deco on the ladder. Let's see. The finish saw Dax sets up a ladder. He starts to climb. Ricky comes in, goes up the opposite side. They're trading shots. Dash smashes his head on the ladder. And Malachi hits him with the black mass. Cash tosses him out of the ring, climbs. Ricky punches him, and then grabs the belt, tosses one to Bill, and takes the other one for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a really good match. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Ricky had a great sequence where he's like hitting all sorts of offense. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. That was good stuff. After that, we had the triple threat: Sky Blue versus Julia Hart versus the TBS champion Chris Statlander. Sort of talked about this. Sky Blue, as commentary pointed out, her final transformation is just her, and Julia Hart coming out in Bastion Red, and then Statlander. Dude, yeah, you gotta love. You got Julia Hart coming out Bastion Red. She's, the pseudo supernatural person misting people. Sky Blue seemingly having transformed, in a very profound way by Julia Hart. And then we got the shout out to the kickball movie.
Dodgeball. But
to the dodgeball movie.
What color was Statlander's gear?
She was purple. And Larson, what color does red and blue make?
Purple.
You got that right.
I know my color wheel.
That is a funny movie. What's his face got jacked for it? Ben Stiller?
Oh yeah.
He got super jacked for that movie.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
buff.
It's stupid as hell, but
yeah. This is a really fun match. Down towards finish, Julia runs at Chris. Statlander hits with a power slam on the floor. Sky hits a running kick, another one. Statlander catches a crossbody, looking for a Saturday Night Fever. It is Saturday,
so it's Saturday Night Fever.
Sky rolls through gets for a 2 count with a roll up, hits a code blue. That code blue transition into the code blue was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a 2 count there. Sky goes for another code blue, but then Julia Hart gets back in the ring and kicks Sky. Hits a lariat to Chris, and then locks on Heartless to Sky. The Statlander's just like chilling in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So she breaks that up, hits a bunch of German suplexes, kicks Julia Hart in the head. Tries to kick Sky Blue. Sky avoids that, rolls up Chris to get a 2 count, goes for a Rana. Chris blocks that, hits Saturday Night Fever on Sky Blue. Julia comes in with that sliding clothesline to break up the cover, and then she covers Sky Blue to get the win and become the new TBS champion.
I love, too, that she was like, because at first, you win your first title, you start, celebrating, but then she has to be in character.
And characters sing along to her theme.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, but no, awesome for Julia Hart, and it was a really, really fun match. The pace always just, kept up. Really good stuff.
Really fun bout. Then we got the announcement of the newest signee to AEW, and it's Will Ospreay, bruv.
So he comes down. He's like, oh, it feels great. Listen up, though. Listen up. I'm happy to be part of the team, but I got some bad news. I'm not going to come in just yet. And the crowd starts supposed like, no, wait. Just pipe down, bro. Pipe down. Listen, when I was 22, I was part of New Japan. I'm 30 now and committed 8 years. I'm begging you, let me finish up. Then I'll be on the road to Revolution. I'll be all yours. More importantly, I am all elite, bruv. Mr. Tony Khan, do us a favor. Line up the best you got, especially for Wembley. Everybody that knows, I'm going to show them what all elite really looks like, bruv. Oh, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Who do you want that first feud to be? Who do you want him to face at Revolution?
So many options.
A lot of options.
I mean, White Brownie has the right answer. It's Jeff Jarrett. Bang.
Oh, man. Perfect. Jeff Jarrett. That's good.
Jeff Jarrett.
You know what'd be sick? If Nigel
McGuinness
came out of retirement, came out from behind commentary.
Oh,
so we just get super British promos.
That'd be incredible. Incredible.
Oh, that'd be good. And then we had Texas Deathmatch. Thing that I loved about this, number one, Prince Nana and Swerve, they had dancers for the entrance. No entrance for, he entered, but for Adam Page, he just bolted down the ramp. And this match, there were no headlocks, no arm drags, no hip tosses. This dude came running down there, and they got into this within the first 2 minutes. He had a staple gun, and he was stapling staples into Swerve's chest. That's how this match started. It was great.
Within 30 seconds, Page hits him with a buckshot, and then he tapes up Swerve's hands, and that's where he busts out the staple gun. He starts stapling him in the chest, in the arms, in the cheeks.
Oh, man, not the cheeks.
Swerve gets busted open. He's bleeding all over the place, and then Page has the upper hand until Swerve kicks him in the front area. Prince Nana undoes the tape on Swerve's wrist, and as Swerve picks up that staple gun, he starts stapling himself and laughing. Just awesome character work.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, oh, you thought this was going to do something to me? This is nothing. He's got the best smile. He's got the best villainous smile.
He really does. He really does. Oh, my gosh. Oh, at one point when Swerve is bleeding all over the place, Heyman goes underneath of him.
Oh, yeah. It
opens his mouth.
Like he was a fountain of blood.
Yeah, and just lets the Swerve's blood that's dripping off his face just go into his mouth and all over his face.
Ugh. It was awesome.
Like I said, this match was violent. If you're not used to this or can't handle it, I can see why it'd be off-putting.
It was like creatively violent. That was the great thing about it. It was creatively violent.
It was really creatively violent. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, and both the wrestlers wrestled with the intensity that's necessary for the feud they've got.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and so they do something like, okay, this makes sense.
It was all
DVD
stuff that
on
was
a cinder block.
It
makes sense given the nature of this feud. Yes,
it was all perfectly in character. Yeah, you're right.
It really was. There's a whole lot we could go into as far as individual spots. A lot of barbed wire here, broken glass, a cinder block. There's a lot here. Prince Nana goes through a table. But just go watch the match. I can't recommend this match highly enough. This right now, as far as AEW matches, this and Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson, the strap match, are the two match of the year for AEW match candidates for me.
Yeah, man.
Those two stand out because they were absolutely stellar. It's the intensity of those matches what really separates them in my mind.
You got a bloodlust going, man. You got a bloodlust.
Apparently.
Extreme.
I didn't think I did.
Larson.
So I guess we can go through the end here. Page hits a buckshot. Ref starts counting, and Swerve ain't moving. This is when he wrapped barbed wire. Page did around Swerve. Said Prince Nana pulls Swerve out of the ring at 8 to break the 10 count. Brian Cage rushes to the ring, hits Page, powerbomb, F5, pulls out a table, looking to powerbomb through the table, out of the ring to the floor. While Cage is set up for the powerbomb, Page picks up some barbed wire and starts hitting him with the face with barbed wire. Hits Cage with the lariat with his arm wrapped in barbed wire. And then it knocks him out of the ring. So then Prince Nana says, all right, I'm going to go to a chair and hit Page with it. He does that. Well, Page no-sells it. Chases Swerve, or chases Nana to the apron and grabs him. And Nana's like, all right, I don't know what to do. So he starts dancing, thinking that Page will let him go. And at first Page does, and then dead-eyes him through the table.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So while that's happening, Swerve gets a huge chunk of cinder block that he used earlier to hit a Death Valley driver on. It smashes it over the back of Hangman, and it just dust everywhere. So Page is out. Ref starts counting. Page gets to his feet before the 10 count, or is about to. So Swerve gets a chunk of chain, wraps it around Hangman's neck, drapes it over the top turnbuckle, and starts pulling on it. Starts choking him.
Yeah.
And Page tries to hold on to it, but eventually Page goes out. Swerve lets go. Ref counts. And Page is starting to stir around 8 or 9, but can't get up before the 10 count, so Swerve wins.
Yeah, yeah. I loved how much dancing in this Nana was doing, too, because even when he pulled out Swerve to get him to his feet, in order to try to wake him up, he started dancing right in front of him. Oh, that was good.
Oh, it was so good.
That was good
so
stuff.
Good. It's fantastic. Such a fantastic. Just go watch it. I can't recommend this match enough.
It was pure inspiration. And then we had the Young Bucks versus the Golden Jets. Sort of the opposite of that. Yeah. It did move towards the finish. And it's really difficult. I mean, I don't envy anybody following that Texas Death Match.
No.
But yeah, this one took a little bit to really get into.
So essentially, when Kenny Omega got in the ring at the end, the business picked up.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, I feel like the moment when Jericho was draped on one, bottom rope, and when I think it was Nick Jackson draped on the other one, and Kenny he made a decision there. Okay, who do I give the V trigger to? And he sort of swerved the crowd into thinking he was going to give it to Jericho, and then he just bounced off the ropes and gave it to Nick Jackson.
Yeah,
I feel like at that point it was like, okay, this is actually picking up now. But there was a lot of time between the beginning of the match and that moment.
I mean, Jericho got busted open on the arm because the Young Bucks were working his arm so much they slammed his arm or kicked it or whatever, pinned it between the ring steps and the post, and his arm got busted open. And Nick Jackson, hats off to him, has the best Judas effect in the business.
He gave a killer Judas effect in this.
It's like him and Andrade had the two best back elbows.
Oh, Andrade's is really Andrade's actually fucked people up.
Yeah, Andrade's the best probably. So Jericho kicked out of a BTE trigger. Young Bucks looking for a Meltzer driver. Kenny breaks that up. Nick accidentally super kicks Matt. Then Matt super kicks Jericho's arm, but Jericho falls with a low blow while the ref is distracted. Kenny tags in. That's when he has the bit with the V trigger that you mentioned. Hits it on Matt. Snapdragon on Matt as well. Kenny gets up Nick looking for a one-winged angel. Nick counters with a poison Rana. Matt hits Kenny with a one-winged angel. Kenny kicks out at 2. Bucks look for a Meltzer driver. Jericho counters with a code breaker. Matt avoids a one-winged angel, but gets a German suplex from Kenny. Nick hits a super kick to Kenny as Jericho hits a kind of a half-assed Judas effect to Nick. In the end, though, Kenny hits Matt with a ripcord knee. One-winged angel covers him and gets the win.
Yep. Yeah. So now the Golden Jets get the Young Bucks' tag title shot.
So Golden Jets versus Starks and Big Bill.
Young Bucks threw a huge fit afterwards. Sort of their thing now. Whenever they lose, they throw just a huge fit. So they get the title shot against like you said, Bill Big and Ricky Starks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we had our main event. So Adam Cole comes down on crutches. He's wearing the same outfit he wore, before. So he goes, he got the Ring of Honor tag belt. I like that. Samoa Joe was like, look, I'll help you with this. But, he's not going to be tag champion.
I don't care about this title. I care about the other title.
I just vacated a title slightly more prestigious than this one. So he does what he can to do his whole entrance with the boom. He has to sit, to do the boom.
Lean against the ropes to do the Adam
Yeah,
Cole
he
baby.
can't do the whole Adam Cole Bebe thing. So Bullet Club Gold comes out. Jay White makes fun of him. And then right before they're going to hit the bell, you hear some sirens because the ambulance is returned, this time driven by MJF. He had somehow stolen this thing and driven it back to the arena. Indeed. So he comes back, him and Cole hug, and then the match is on. And it's sort of, what you figure would be, it's like MJF just trying to do everything he can to survive on one leg, and Jay White trying his best to take advantage of that one leg and be an arrogant prick in the process.
Yeah, totally. MJF hit this crazy move where he jumped over the top rope and hit a cutter while Jay White was on the apron.
That was
top
awesome.
Rope, cutter to the floor. It was crazy.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was really
crazy.
Great.
It was crazy. So shortly after that, MJF, he can't stand up. So Doc Samson comes and checks on him. MJF just gives him the middle finger. And Jay White starts really working the leg, a bunch of dragon screws, locks on a figure 4. Adam Cole has a towel, but I think it was MJF's shirt. I can't see you go through this, Max.
Yeah.
I can't see you lose. So he's threatening to throw in the towel, and MJF's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Screaming at him not to do it. So MJF eventually reverses the pressure. Jay White has to scratch and claw to get to the bottom rope. And so while the ref's breaking the hold up, Adam Cole looks at his Ring of Honor tag title, which is just sitting on the apron still.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks it up. He's about ready to hit Jay White with it. And Jay White spots him before he does it. And so Jay White takes the belt from him, blasts MJF with it, covers, MJF kicks out.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get a ref bump where MJF sends Jay White into Bryce Remsburg. So Adam Cole takes out the Dynamite Diamond Ring and puts it on the apron. And tries to give it to MJF. However, Jay White gets it. He's loading up for a punch. MJF hits him with a low blow. He puts the ring on. That's when the guns run back down because the ref's still out. He hits him, knocks him out. And then he hits Jay White with the ring, covers him as Bryce comes to the count to 3.
Yeah.
MJF wins.
Yeah. No, it was, in a vacuum, it was a really, really phenomenally good match. It was a really good match. It was a great match. And then, there was a lot of love between MJF and Adam Cole to finish the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's AEW Full Gear 2020.
That was Full Gear for you.
It's in the books. And once again, thanks to everybody for hanging out. We can go enjoy the rest of our Saturday and enjoy our Sunday now. Next
the rest
weekend,
of our Saturday. There's 2 hours we have left of it.
You got that right. Next Saturday, we, of course, have WWE Survivor Series. So be sure to check that out. And I believe, I don't want to speak for you because we haven't literally talked about this, but tomorrow, Sunday, are you going to have 15 minutes so we can deliver some fresh, hot
star ratings,
unlike those other guys.
You gotta wait a whole week for them star ratings. We
goddamn week.
Under 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's going to happen
here
over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel, so be sure to go subscribe over there. I'll spare you guys my ranting, but I noticed that we're only at 276 likes. Let's try to get that up to 1,000. 500 likes. Let's do that. What, is that not good?
I've never heard so. Let's get it up to 1,000. I've never heard half.
As I said it, I realize it's not like a term that anybody uses, but we've been doing this for like 6 hours now, so we're gonna call it a night. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you. Do you want to say one last thing? She's been doing this mini growl during this show. That you guys might not be able to hear, but I can.
I haven't heard it.
What? You want a big one? What? No? Oh, now you're shy. Okay. Anyways, we'll see you around, everybody.
Goodbye.
Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today.